And I'm gonna try to keep this video short since the last one was kind of long because I really was showing how I throw the teapot and then I was assembling the teapot. So I am gonna zoom in and show you what I've done so far. I'm not gonna be able to show everything because it's a little time consuming, but I'm gonna show as much as I can. And if you guys have any questions, please use the live chat. Okay, let me bring my phone down. Might have to adjust a little bit the camera, make sure that it is a good angle here for me to work. So this is what I have so far, and the reason why I won't be able to show everything is because, well, first of all, the sun, it's kind of like on a weird angle right now. I don't know if the lighting is good. I think the sun is coming from another direction here. Let's see if you guys can see what I've done so far with this one. So I did some relief carving on this side of the teapot. I put the handle, yeah, because last time I don't think I had the handle. So I put the handle, and I'm a little worried because everything is drying real fast. So I will be spraying as I do the work so that it doesn't dry too fast. And the way I always work is I keep the plastic on the part that I'm not working. So I would cover this part and work on the other side, which that's what I'm gonna do. So I am gonna spray, and I'll show you how I do the relief carving and then how I add clay, which I think it's called bas relief. When you start adding clay, or almost like a very soft clay, like you keep it wet, like the way I do it. I put a towel over my clay so it's really wet, almost like a paste. So that's how I attach and add more clay to make the pieces of my design more pronounced. So I'll show you how I do that in here. I haven't done it here yet because I want to do the other side. So I am gonna spray again. And I am gonna show you that other one that I finished today. So this is the other side. Let me see. I wanna make sure that you guys can see the design. Is kind of real light. I use a Sharpie pen. So this is the other side that I'm gonna show. I'm just gonna spray right now a little bit so that I can show the other teapot, and I'm gonna cover this. Yeah, once it's wrapped and once you unwrap it, it just dries real fast. So that's always a concern. Just like I have some mugs that I've been spraying so that they will last until I get to them, because I wanted to do the teapot first. So I'll show you the other one that is also wrapped. So let me unwrap the other one, which is, the other one is almost done. It's like, I'd say 90% done. I just need cleanup. And for the finishing touches, I use a real fine, that fine sponge, that fine texture sponge. So I covered with the plastic all the way down underneath. Stresses me out because it's so much work that goes into making these. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me see. I might have to move this one here so you can see. Hold on. Let me move this teapot out of the way. And now I can show this one, which is kind of the same process on this one. This is actually the one that we did that I threw, that I had the, you know, the demo, how I throw it. So I did the relief carving, and then here you see these sides of the leaves more pronounced, and I use coils to make the vine. And then the lid, it's not quite like a perfect fit because I believe the lid is not at the same drying time as the teapot is drier. So I'm thinking that the lid is still gonna shrink a little more to fall into the gallery. So as, I don't know if you guys watched my previous video, I did have, like, it was a little wobbly here on the gallery because it was very soft. The clay got really soft. And then I fixed it by just going with my finger and pushing it up again. So that fixed it. So now the gallery looks pretty good. I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to fit the lid completely in the gallery, or if I'm going to have to turn upside down and put it on a chuck and trim just a little bit, you know, around the rim here to make it just fall in there. I mean, it's almost, you can see it's almost falling in there. So I'm gonna wait another couple of days and see if it shrinks more. If not, I'm gonna trim a little bit. So that's nice that you can trim your lids afterwards to make it a nice perfect fit. So this is the other one that I did. So I'm gonna go ahead and cover it again. And I will show you how I do that. If you guys are not familiar with relief carving and adding clay. So I do like, you do have to be careful because if you have a real thin, like this one was a little thinner walls than the other one that I have. So I couldn't go too deep on my relief carving. But I was able to go a little bit deeper with my design on the other one. So, but they're both really light, and I went with the roses theme. I was thinking about adding maybe a bird onto this one, but then I just thought it was too much, and I just kept it just leaves and the floral, you know, with the roses. So the other one, let me put this back. I'll show you the lid for this one here, which is really cute. It's a bird. So I don't know if I showed you. I don't think I did. So this is the lid for this one. So I believe I have videos on how I make my birds. This is all hollow, and I make it by just doing pinch pots, 2 pinch pots together to make the body, and then I add a little pinch pot for the head. And then it's still pretty soft, so I'm gonna carve the feathers in. And he's perched on a branch. And this one fits just right on the gallery. So now I have just the leaves. So far my design are just leaves on the teapot, and I was considering adding a butterfly maybe, or something, you know, a flower, but I'm not sure yet. I might just leave just with the leaves and let the bird be the focal point on the teapot. So so one thing is I use Diamondcoretools. They make real nice carving tools for relief, and you can search, if you're interested, you can search on their website for, I'm gonna put a link for these that I use, but you can search relief carving tools, and they have all kinds of carving tools, but this is one of them, is the P29 that I use. It's really nice. This one is one that it's still being tested. I don't think it's in production yet. It's a carving tool they sent, and I really like it. I don't know if it is or not in production, or if they have it for sale yet. But the only thing is that you have two sides to this tool, and then the idea. Can you guys tell me if you're seeing this right, or if the light is too much? The sun. I know the sun is hitting right on the teapot right now. I'm not sure if I'll be able to show. Can anybody use the live chat and tell me if the light is too much? If you can't see it, I might have to end and start another one indoors. But anyways, let's try it. So the idea with the relief carving is that you make the indent, you carve all around your design, and then the other side is higher, so that you create this valley around your design. So kind of like this. If you guys have any questions, you can welcome to ask me anything, any questions about this. Because I know people have asked me if you carve the entire piece. No, you just carve around your design, and then you kind of ease the level. You kind of make a nice transition, because where your design is lower, and then around it is going to be higher. So it gives an impression of being like puffy around it, and then almost like if you pushed your design in a little bit, almost like a pillow. Create that real nice effect. So you see around here, you kind of just blend in, so it transitions nicely to the rest of the piece. And then, so that's the thing with this tool here. I have to switch back and forth. I always like to work away from me, so I'm going from here that way out. So I'm making the stem right there, and then I don't know if you can see the design. It's kind of light when I use the my Sharpie, and then I was grabbing with my hand on this side. It kind of smeared a little bit. I can still see it because it makes a mark, almost like a light carving when I use the Sharpie, so I can still see it. Not quite sure if you guys can see the design, but so you kind of blend in the outer part of your design, so that your leaf, it's out, it sticks out. And then to create that stem right here, I went with a lot of curves. I was going for the Art Nouveau type design with a lot of curves, so I think that looks nice. So I'm creating the stem on the one that I made the roses, because it was thin. Remember I told you it was thinner walls. What I did is I created the stem of all the vines using coils. So you can do that too. If you don't want to carve all your, the thin lines, you can just add coils. But here, because this one has more of a thickness, I am just going ahead and carving that. It is a little hard even for me to see the design. So I have a line going around like this in here. And I just do like a real kind of rough sketch, and then at times I just feel like adding more, adding other leaves. So I just kind of do that on the fly. If I just feel like adding another leaf, I do that. So I follow the design, but not exactly, you know. I kind of see as I am carving if I like what I'm seeing, and then I kind of adjust. Hi, Pat. Yeah, sorry, I did a quick announcement because my pieces were drying real fast, and I only have a short window to show how I carve. And I was wondering if the lighting it's okay because the sun, I am on my sunroom, so the sun is shining onto the piece here. So I hope you can see. Uh, the it is like getting to the leather hard now. So earlier this morning it was still pretty soft, and I keep it covered. And that's what I'm saying. Once you uncover it, as you know, uncover your pieces, then things start moving real fast because it's been a few days now since I have thrown the pot. So I kept it, just wrapped. But as soon as you uncover it, then it really starts to dry quick. So that's why I said this is not gonna be a long video because I'm really afraid that things are drying real fast. So I'm just not sure if you guys can see the detail. It's too bad that the sun is just shining in here. If it's not, I'll try to make another video on something else because I'm still gonna do my mugs. And that's one of the reasons I like to do these lives in the morning. I just never got to it because in the afternoon, the sun is shining here on my sunroom. In the morning, I have the sun in the front of my house. So anyways, this is just a stem, like a vine kind, and I'm going into different curves and stuff. So that's all I'm doing right now is carving the curves. The lighting's okay. Um, yeah, that's what I was afraid of, the shadow, because I can see the sun is right there to my left. Yeah, if you can see the relief, it's okay. Then I'll try to do my next one. That's what I said. I think I'm gonna stick with the morning. I know in the morning it's not ideal for some people because they work, but it's better for me unless I do it indoors. But I usually try to work outside here on my sunroom. So I'm gonna switch to my other tool just for you guys to see the difference. This one is gliding pretty well. The other tool that I have is also a good tool, but it's just a little bit different. So the ideal time to carve is when it's like this. It's a little, it's on leather hard, so it's not sticking. And this clay is known to grab, like it will do almost like a chattering effect. If you're not careful, it's gonna do like that chattering, and then you have to fix that. But right now it's gliding really well, so it's the dryness is nice to do it at this point. The only thing is because I add clay, once I'm done, I need to keep on spraying so that it doesn't dry too much. I don't want it to start drying, like becoming bone dry. Then it's not good for, when you're adding wet clay, it's not gonna be good. So also I'm trying to hold it so that you guys can see. So it's a little awkward holding the the teapot the way I'm holding here, but hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. So you see how I am easing to the rest of it. So I'm really not carving, not worrying with the rest of it. I just kind of do it very lightly so that it makes that kind of mound. They're still building the houses on the back here, so it's a little annoying, the noise. They're working on the roof now, so if you hear the sound of... And my husband is taking a nap here too, so if you hear snoring, that's it. I have to share this room. It's not just my studio, but today was 70 degrees, so it was the first warm day here in Georgia, so I was really happy. It felt like spring. It felt really nice. I took a break and I went outside for a little while. I didn't do much yesterday. My granddaughter was here with me, so I had to take a break from pottery. We planted some seeds. She's starting a vegetable garden too, so I'm doing one and she started one, so I helped her. Yeah, it is getting dry. So, and it's a little awkward the way I'm holding here for you guys to see. So let me just finish this leaf here and then I'll show with this one. So this one, the P29, as you can see, has a rounded edge, but it works the same, except that, I don't know, sometimes I think the other one is almost like a sharper tool, the one that, I'm not sure if they have it in production yet, but it is a nice tool. This one works, it grabs a little bit. So another thing I like to do is do the middle. So here's the way I do the middle. I only carve one, instead of making the two lines in the middle, I only do one. And the way I do that is I think of how is the glaze going to pull. When you glaze it, I want it to show darker on the middle. So like for this leaf that is horizontal, I want the groove to be on this way so that the glaze is going to pull into that little, creates almost like a little shelf. So I think about that ahead of time, just because it adds a nice look when you glaze it, because it pulls into that little area and it catches the glaze there. I don't know if you can see. And then if it is horizontal, I guess it doesn't matter, but when it is, I mean, if it is vertical, but if it is horizontal, I want the glaze to catch in here. So on this one, I'm just gonna do, doesn't matter which way I do it. And then on the higher places like here, once you use your sponge, you won't see it. So you don't have to worry, as long as you don't have like a dividing line between the lower and the higher levels on the surface here. Okay. So I'll just show you. I am gonna spray this down so that it's not drying so fast. Sometimes you just rub it with your finger like this to really make that smooth. I'm using the wrong sponge right now. I like to use that white sponge from Mud Tools. That is a finer one. I don't know where it is right now. I keep on losing my tools. I need to get more organized here. But anyways, you guys get the idea. So I'm going to show you now how I do the adding the clay. I have a coil. And as you notice, I do add some sprigs also. So that, let me just roll this. Like for the other teapot, right here, instead of carving where the spout is, I added a leaf, a sprig. So it's a mixture of carving, and you can add and you can create your layers. So I could add another leaf if I wanted to on top, of some of these to look like the three-dimensional. So as you can see, this is still pretty wet. And all I'm gonna do is put this right at the edge. And then I pull this down with my finger. So you get that instant effect that, erases one side of your leaf. And sometimes I do it so it looks like the leaf is folded. So I'll do it right here. And all I'm doing is making sure it's really wet, and then I'll cover it. So I usually do this part at the end, so I don't have to worry about touching it and messing it up. It's just a coil. So you see here I put more to look like this part of the leaf is a little folded like that. So now I'm going to blend it in. So I use this technique quite a bit for my birds, like when I do carving of, putting birds or whatever I'm doing on my design, I tend to add some more clay in different areas. So let's say if you wanted the chest of your bird to show up more like three-dimensional, you can add more clay and then carve it on top of it when it gets a little drier. The way I did the roses was more like I let the clay get really soft and I made almost like a paste. It's almost like when you make a flour for a cake. That's how I created those roses. So you see how now I'm bending this part of the leaf to give that. So I hope you can see right here. Anyways, I go around once I'm done with the relief carving, I add all these coils to make some of the parts of my design more 3D-ish. So, and what else I was gonna show you? Is there anything that you guys wanna know? Yeah, I have my my bottle right here. I do spray quite often. And it's amazing because you spray and you see the water it just sucks the water in. So I am gonna post a picture of when I'm all done. If you guys have any questions or if you wanna see this, like I said, this is not a good example for me to show to do the demo just because it has a lot of intricate parts and I'm a little worried here on how I'm holding it. And but I could show like maybe on a mug, you know, another day. If you guys are interested, let me know and I'll do more demos on these technique and also on these, it's called bas relief, where you add, you let the porcelain be almost like a paste and you add and you create a bunch, you can create flowers and leaves doing that, which is similar to this technique here that I'm doing, but this is the very basic, adding just a little bit of coil when it's really wet and it creates that. But there are several things that you can do using this technique. So I think that's it, guys, for today. Sorry that it was kind of short. It was a short video, so but like I said, this is drying too fast. So let me know what you guys would like for me to demo, and I'm happy to make some more videos for you. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.